I've often heard that it's said that when you take oral contraceptives, it tricks the woman's body into thinking that it's pregnant. Is that true?
So I'll talk about the two mechanisms of what, yes, that is true in a way of like what the hormones are doing.
Mm-hmm.
The two things that the birth control pill is doing, and I'm glad that you asked that because I think it's important, and I don't think a lot of people know what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
I never did. So the birth control pill's main goal is to shut down the function of women's reproductive system. So women in their reproductive system, every cycle will ovulate, and that's a normally healthy function of the body. The birth control pill is number one primary goal is going to try to shut down that function and not allow her to ovulate at all. So think about like you're taking a pill for a certain reason, whether to try to avoid pregnancy or to try to fix some other issue that you're having. And the goal of the pill is to shut down a functioning part of your body. That should like be a number one red flag. Mm-hmm. But number two, sometimes it doesn't work that way. And sometimes the body is fighting so hard to override that because it's not normal. And it wants to ovulate because that's normal. And so if the body succeeds in overriding the pill shutting down that function and she does ovulate, then the pill's secondary mechanism is to make sure that any newly conceived life will die. So if conception does occur, then the pill will then work to make sure that the uterus is a very hostile environment that won't sustain life, and it will cause a very early abortion. She may not even know that has happened because it's so early, but that's the secondary cause or the secondary mechanism of how it works.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does happen where like sometimes people will start charting with Creighton while they're still taking the pill just to like kind of get in the hang of it before they feel comfortable going off of the pill. And what some women find is that their cycle looks pretty normal. It looks as if they're not on the pill. And so that's telling us that it's not doing its primary function. It's not shutting down ovulation, but it's working in that secondary way that I mentioned. So I think it's really important that we know like exactly what it's doing if we're putting this into our body.
Yeah. And I think that, again, as we mentioned earlier, like the vast majority of Catholic women are using some sort of form of contraceptives, and probably the one that's used the most is the oral contraceptives. And I would say most Catholics that are informed about their faith understand the gravity of abortion from at all stages of pregnancy, but are unaware, as you just said, that the oral contraceptives can actually cause an very early term abortion. And so I think if people are more aware of that, they'd recognize you can't just be against abortion, and not against contraceptives. You have to recognize that they kind of go hand in hand, at least in this particular way. Yeah. Thank you for watching this clip. You can click here to watch the full episode, or here to watch another clip I think you might enjoy. With that said, before you go, if you want to support the Catechism Guy, please consider clicking that subscribe button and then the bell, and that way YouTube will have to let you know every time we release a new video.